Welcome to Science Corner.
Hey y'all, Cy here. So, the Whirligig Wars are going on right now, and I've never made a Whirligig, so I watched a ton of videos. I thought of an idea, and then I started making some parts for it. I'll go grab it real quick. I'm gonna have a tooth and a toothbrush, and it's gonna be brushing the tooth. So now it's time for me to put it together. I need to have some kind of rod thing. Let's bend the rod. And then make a crank and all that good stuff. So I'm gonna try to do that. I was gung-ho to start building, but first I practiced bending with a hanger. It needs to go back like this, and needs attached something like that. So this. Then I thought maybe I should get the main part together first. So I glued a piece of trim I found to this board. Hey look, in my scrap bin I found a drawer part that has that groove in it already. So from hiding my wire. Cool! Yay! Then I started to work on the wind catcher. Kind of like a propeller action type thing. So I sketched out some propellers, checked to see if it would fit on the round part. And then I cut them, you can see them right here, then drilled a hole into the round part and put the wire in, and then made the second hole and gently slipped the wire into place. That seemed to hold the wire, and it twirled like it's supposed to, I think. So I used my nifty dovetail saw to cut 4 places to hold those propellers. And it seemed to work. I waited to glue those until I had the rest figured out. For the toothbrush mechanism, I drilled some holes and then I used a chisel to chisel out the area where the nut would sit. I was also really excited that I got to use my mallet. Hooray, it fits! Now to do the other! I wasn't sure if this idea was going to work or not, but I mixed up the epoxy and I put the nuts into those little holes there, and I was happy that that worked out so well. I placed 2 bolts with washers through the 2 holes in the board and screwed them into the toothbrush with a washer on each side so that it could slide back and forth. Then later I ended up adding another little board for the bolts to go through to help in sliding easier. I tried it out for the first time and was excited that it moved, like I was hoping it would. It looked good with the tooth in place too, and now for the hard part. Now I gotta figure out how to hook this up so it'll do that. The next day I was ready to dig in. I bent all the wires on the blade or whatever it's called, and then I made these little covers to go over the top of this. This is going to fit in there like that. So right now I'm going to glue these pieces on right there. This is the day I started getting pretty frustrated. After bending the wire and gluing these boards up, I went on to gluing the propeller blades, and I had to wait for each one to dry before moving on to the next. And that was just taking so long. But they never fell off, so I guess I have nothing to complain about. Finally, the next day, all those were dry, and I was ready to move on. Don't know where to put this thing. I'm trying to figure out how to put the rest of it together. There, I'm hanging it off the bandsaw. That works. Then I realized I needed to pretty it up a little bit, but I think maybe I was procrastinating. So I added some oil to the toothbrush and to the tooth, and then I took all that stuff off and decided to paint the whole thing. And then I made a frame around it, and I painted that frame a different color. You'll see that in a little bit. And I painted the propeller, and that was interesting. So I let that dry, and the next day I was at the point where I had to figure out how to make it work. Okay, I'm gonna try to put my whirligig together. Blah! I liked the way the frame turned out around the toothbrush and everything. And it was pretty easy to attach the propeller. I just clamped it and then put a couple of nails in there. And right away when I was hooking up the mechanism, I could tell it wasn't going to work because I had put it this way. So I removed it and then I reattached it at a 90-degree angle, and that seemed to work. But now I had to figure out how to link those two together so it would move the toothbrush. I tried this skinny gauge pink wire, but it didn't work real well. I hot glued the tooth in place and checked it out, but that pink wire just couldn't hack it. This is a little clip of the tweaking I did, but I ended up doing this a lot, and I finally ended up with this contraption here. This is the extra piece I added to aid with sliding. This is a piece of hanger that's hanging onto the wire clip. This is the heavier wire, and black tape, my hero. That seemed to work. Not real well, and it's really noisy, but it moves the toothbrush. Okay, here goes. So thanks for watching, everyone, while I made the whirligig for the Whirligig Wars. And I tell you what, this has been the most frustrating project I've ever made. And I think it's because, this thing should be this way instead of this way. And I think it would work much better. Or have gears or something. Anyway, thanks for joining me, and we'll see y'all next time. Bye! Make sure to check out all the entries in the Whirligig Wars. I think I'm the only one that used black tape. I got lots to learn. But thanks for watching! See you next time!